Most people think intelligence is something you can measure with numbers, test scores, or quick tricks. They imagine it as a high IQ, the ability to throw around complicated words, or perhaps solving a Rubik's Cube in under a minute. But is that really the full picture? Not quite. Here at Stoic Drift, we explore a different truth, the truth the world often overlooks, because real intelligence, true genius, doesn't always announce itself with noise or show off in the spotlight. It doesn't always wear glasses or hide behind mountains of books. Sometimes it looks like the quiet man in the corner, the one who speaks less but somehow understands far more. Sometimes it's the man who walks alone, not because he is lost, but because his focus is sharp, his vision clear. In a world overflowing with noise, ego, and shallow thinking, true intelligence often becomes invisible. And yet, if you recognize these 5 subtle signs within yourself, you might discover that you are not just different. You may be far more intelligent than most people around you. And the wisdom of the Stoics proves it. Let's uncover these hidden truths together. 1. You constantly doubt yourself. At first glance, that might look like weakness, but in reality, it is a profound strength. While the average person walks through life with blind confidence, rarely questioning their assumptions, the truly intelligent pause. They stop to reflect. They ask themselves, could I be wrong? Is there another perspective I haven't considered? That hesitation is not insecurity. That is wisdom at work. The Stoics themselves never claimed to know it all. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful emperors in history, humbly admitted in his Meditations, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I shall gladly change. For I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone." This is the heart of a genius mindset. True thinkers don't chase the shallow satisfaction of being right. They chase accuracy. They seek truth, no matter how uncomfortable. They understand the world is endlessly complex, and that certainty often blinds more than it enlightens. So, if you find yourself constantly refining your thoughts, challenging your own ideas, and humbly adjusting when faced with truth, don't mistake that for weakness. That is not insecurity. That is genius, hidden beneath humility. 2. You remain calm when everyone else loses control. In moments of pressure, chaos, or emotional conflict, most people react impulsively. The moment stress strikes, they lash out with anger, panic, or careless words they'll later regret. But if, in the heat of pressure, you notice that your mind actually becomes sharper, if you instinctively pause before speaking, think carefully before acting, and observe before judging, then you're demonstrating a higher form of intelligence. Not just ordinary intelligence, but an elite level of emotional mastery. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It is not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." In other words, the world itself is not what shakes us, it is the meaning we attach to it. The ability to step back from your emotions, to see reality as it truly is, rather than as your feelings would have you believe, is one of the rarest and most powerful strengths a human can possess. Think about it, when everyone around you is panicking, but you remain calm. When others are consumed by the storm, but you're the one who steadies the ship. What does that say about you? It means you've built something most people never achieve, an inner fortress of stability. In Stoicism, this calmness is not just wisdom, it is power. It is the mark of a strategist, someone who thinks several moves ahead instead of reacting to every impulse. While others drown in waves of emotion, you have learned to navigate storms with a steady hand, unmoved, unbroken, unshaken. That is not ordinary. That is rare. And yes, that is genius. 3. You feel like you don't belong because you think on a higher frequency. Have you ever sat in a group and felt that the conversations around you were shallow? That people seemed content gossiping, debating meaningless trends, or feeding on drama, while deep down you craved something more truth, growth? If so, that is not arrogance. It's evidence that you are wired differently. The Stoic Seneca once advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. True geniuses don't crave fitting in, they crave growth. They are not interested in the comfort of the crowd, but in the challenge of evolution. So, if small talk bores you, if groupthink drains you, if you'd rather spend time in solitude or in one-on-one deep conversations than in loud, shallow crowds, it doesn't mean you dislike people. It means your mind operates at a different frequency. You simply value quality over quantity, depth over surface. And if you've often felt like an outsider, it may be because you're focused on truths the world is not yet ready to face. That quiet sense of alienation is not isolation. It is the signature of insight. 4. You see patterns that others overlook. Where most people see randomness, you detect structure. In human behavior, in relationships, in politics, in business, in emotions, you notice what repeats. You don't just watch events unfold, you analyze them. You ask, why is this happening? Where will it lead? This ability is rare, and it is powerful. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly to look beneath the surface, never to accept things at face value. And this is what you naturally do. You don't just see actions, you see causes. You don't just notice outcomes, you see ripples, stretching far into the future. You read people as if they were open books. You recognize how one small decision today could create massive consequences tomorrow. That is more than intellect. That is foresight. The ability to mentally simulate the future while everyone else may be trapped in the present moment, distracted by whatever shouts the loudest. But you see further. Whether you're solving complex problems, decoding someone's hidden motives, or uncovering truths that others completely overlook, your mind doesn't just observe it, connects, anticipates, and understands. You are not just reacting to life, you are shaping your response with precision. And in a world where most people are swept away by noise and impulse, this kind of perception is nothing short of a superpower. 5. You pursue mastery in silence while others chase applause. Look around, notice how often the loudest voices in the room crave recognition. They thrive on applause, validation, and the spotlight. But you move differently. You don't need to be seen to be significant. Your focus is not on attention, but on improvement. Quietly, steadily, and relentlessly. You sharpen your craft, your discipline, your self-control. You grow stronger in the shadows where no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That is exactly what you embody. You don't waste your energy convincing others of your potential. Instead, you refine it. You don't perform for approval. You rise to your own standards. While the world is busy chasing likes, applause, and fleeting praise, you are training in silence, becoming unshakable. This is what sets you apart. Genius doesn't reveal itself in loud declarations or constant performances. It's built quietly, in the unseen hours of dedication. It's not about what people applaud today, but about the lasting strength you're building for tomorrow. And in that quiet consistency, in the effort, not the ego, that's where true genius lives. So if you recognize yourself in these signs, the constant self-reflection, the emotional calm when others lose control, the hunger for depth in a shallow world, the sharp perception that sees what others miss, and the silent, steady pursuit of mastery, then stop doubting yourself. You may not be the loudest, you may not be the flashiest, but you are intelligent in the deepest, most meaningful sense. Here at Stoic True Wisdom, we believe real intelligence isn't about how quickly you solve a puzzle, but about how deeply you understand life itself. And the more you live by these Stoic principles, the more you'll realize you don't need to prove you're a genius. You only need to keep thinking, keep living, and keep leading with wisdom. And if this message spoke to your soul, then don't just leave quietly, join us. Leave a comment below, share your reflections, and most importantly, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and become part of the Stoic True Wisdom community. The world needs more minds like yours, steady, sharp, and deeply rooted in truth.